It looks like it's going to be one of them days today. I'll do this video recording for the day and see how it goes. Morning everybody, I'm Dave, Anvil Logistics, and it's Wednesday morning, the 26th of October. And I didn't have a job booked in for last night. I did try to get one, but I wasn't successful. And I got up about 6:30 this morning, same time as the wife, and really started looking on the feed to try and pick up a job for today to start me off. And to be perfectly frank, I haven't got one. I have been looking on the feed since 6:30. The time is now 9:15. I've even got in the van and drove round the corner to force myself to look for work so I don't get distracted at home. And I haven't got anything still. I have bid for several jobs. The feed is not very busy, but the jobs I've bid for have not been successful, and I haven't been bidding high or anything. In fact, a couple of them I bid below what I would like to bid, and I haven't been successful. So it goes to show you that there are times on this courier exchange that it's just quiet. You know, there's not much going on. Is it anybody's fault? Probably not. Probably the shippers themselves. If they've got their own vehicles, they're obviously going to fill their own vehicles first and then put the jobs out after. And it's just not a lot going on. And that is why I have advocated that you really do need to have an alternative source of work. Because this week so far, apart from a good Monday, has not been much to speak about. When you get to this late before you secure a job, you could be looking at mid-afternoon before you could perhaps get a second job, depending on where you're going, and that's probably too late. The work for tomorrow starts coming out. So I don't think today will be a good day. The only thing that could probably rescue me now would be if I can pick up an ADR job. But again, there's nothing coming out up north anyway. There's a couple. I'm just looking at my laptop, and there's 2 jobs down south, but obviously I'm up here, so there's not much point traveling for those. So I'll keep you informed how we're doing. Well, we got a job. Took a while. The time now, I'm on site to do the collection. It's 11:30. So you can probably see that it's been a traumatic morning for me today. So I'm just on site. It's a medium wheelbase job, and it's going to Redditch from the Haywood area. I'm picking up from a display company, and I'm taking to a hire company in Redditch. So see how long it takes to get loaded here now. They did say about 10 minutes or so. And then we'll be heading down towards Birmingham and see if we can pick something else up when we're down there. But it will be mid-afternoon, so fingers crossed. Right, so that job's delivered now, and it's 2:45 in Redditch. It's just south of Birmingham. So the job itself was half right. It was decent pay, but obviously I'm running a bit behind now money-wise today where I would normally like to be. So I'm bidding now for work to see if I can get back north, or a really good job to another area to make me money up and possibly stay over. So we'll have a look now and see how we do with that one. So after dropping in Redditch, I waited probably the best part of an hour and a half to secure a job going northwards. I was considering going home, but I managed to get a job, and I got a job, a small van job, but I got it at a reasonable rate per miles, probably because it's late. But I had to drive to Dudley and meet a driver from a dispatch company at his house address, take a pallet off his van, put it on my van, and I'm taking that to Leeds. I'm taking it to an Asda in Leeds. it. I think it's for some guys who are working there, building a display. So by the time I get to Asda in Leeds, it's going to be 8 o'clock in the evening. By the time I've unloaded and got home, it's going to be pushing 9. So that's a long day. And a disappointing day, it's got to be honest. I mean, numbers wise, it actually has added up all right. But, and you could argue, well, you didn't work till 11 o'clock and you're getting home at, 8, 9 o'clock at night. It's not too many hours. But I was trying to find work from in the morning, so it was a long day, really. So there we have it. Not a very good day, really. Made the money, but it was very, very hard work. No ADR work. I have been bidding for some ADR work for tomorrow, but so far without success. A lot of this ADR work, it comes on the system, and it actually isn't a job yet. It's sort of like out for quote. And I think when they get the prices back from the different drivers, they kind of bulk it and decide that it wasn't that urgent after all. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Keep thinking positive. At least I earned money. So you can see that day, it was quite a challenging day. It's now Friday. It's Friday evening, and I've been doing my books because quite a few payments have come in today and yesterday. So I thought I'd better tally everything up and marry everything out. And also I have to allocate the VAT payments that come in now, which I didn't have to do before, to another account ready to, pay them out when the accountant says it's time to pay them out. I put all the VAT in the account, and then obviously some of that will come back to me anyway. But as I reclaim with things like fuel back against it. So, but the whole lot goes in, so I don't get myself in any financial embarrassment when they come asking for my VAT. So the rest of the week, it didn't follow. It wasn't good. But I did manage to work. I worked Thursday, picked up some jobs, and I finished on Thursday collecting a job for Friday morning, which I took very early down to Bedford, and then spent today in Bedford this morning, just trying to find a job to come back. Aware that not far away, lurking like a shark, was James from Freddie Fletcher. He's about 25 miles from me, knowing that he was looking for something back as well. But I was successful. Got myself a job to Preston. It was a medium wheelbase job. It was reasonable pay, considering I was looking for something going back up north, and would have done it a bit cheaper probably, but I managed to get normal price for it, so I'm happy. But the traffic today was horrendous. What should have been perhaps a 3.5 hour drive from that area turned into like 4 hours, 45 minutes. What a nightmare. So I ended up getting home about 4:30, which was later than I thought it would be. But still, that's the way it goes, isn't it, sometimes? So this week, bit grim, but not as grim as I feared. I've just added up the numbers and actually was over target, surprisingly enough. I thought this week, because I didn't actually add it up as I went along. I didn't really want to look at the figures. But when I've added it up, I'm over target. And then with the VAT, of which obviously a portion of that will be mine, when you knock off my own VAT claims, it's not bad. It's not brilliant. Don't get me wrong. It's not brilliant, but it is enough to pay my wages and meet my running costs with a tiny little bit over as well. But having had a really good week last week, back down to planet Earth with a bang this week. But not as bad as I feared, I'm glad to say. But the feed did seem quiet. Today wasn't. Today, Friday, was busy. But on the whole, it seems quiet. And I did actually have a little conversation with a shipper who gave me a job on Thursday, who said that they were, something like 25% down on the work that they were giving out. They didn't know whether, the recession's taking a little nibble now. Obviously, companies are feeling the squeeze with all the extra money for energy bills, etc. they're paying out. Whether it's half term, don't know. But the thing is, don't get down about it. If you have a bad week, you can't get down. You've got to think positive. And if you think it's, this is no good, this, and you're relying on the CX just for all your work, just like I have been, then think positive and think ahead. Think what you're going to do. Just like I've been suggesting in the last few weeks, I'm going to start looking for some of my own customers and what am I going to do about it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. And what you should do about it is watch Firkin Freight's latest video, because he gives some really good advice about how you can develop slowly but surely your own company to get some of your own work. And pretty much what he's saying is what I'm taking on board. And got my business cards on the way, the website's up and running, and I've also got myself a waste license. And the reason why I did that was because I saw an ADR job last week from Nottingham, and I wasn't far away. And it was a tasty job. It was a really good looking job. And it was flashing up a few times and there wasn't any takers for it. But when I opened the job to put a bid in, it said I had to have a waste license as well. And I haven't got one. I didn't have one. So I've looked into it, and I've also spoke to James from Freddie Fletcher's about this, because he has a waste license. And then when you look into it, you don't realise just how many times you really should have a waste license. You know, when you're taking empty packaging and things like that, it's classed as waste, and you really need to have a waste license to move it. I don't know how heavily it gets enforced, but certainly under ADR, it might get enforced a bit more. So I went onto the government website, looked it up, read about it, realised it's not all that expensive. They do a couple of checks on you. And for the princely sum of £154, I have got an upper tier waste licence that will last me for 3 years, which means I can transport waste material. And you never know, it might come in. Now, whilst I was actually updating my CX with this new super qualification of mine, you go into obviously your homepage, don't you? And then I uploaded the waste license and requested the change, and then they obviously send you a message back saying, we've noted what you asked, we'll look into it, blah blah blah, and we'll confirm it. I've got a reasonably negative comment from someone who's done a couple of negative comments on my channel, which is fair enough. People have got their own opinions, haven't they? And sometimes negative comments, if they're abusive, because you do get a few knobheads that, just decide to put abusive things, I delete them. And this one, basically, what the person had said was, and it was in relation to me losing that position I had at Proactive, which was my fault. And I owned up to that mistake. I didn't bear them any ill will. And, it made me realise what I'd done was wrong. And I own that mistake, admitted it, I've moved on, and I won't repeat it. But this particular person, who has, corresponded to me before, made a point of saying that you YouTubers, that's why I block you. I won't, because I think he must be a bit of a shipper as well. I won't give any of you YouTubers work because that's what happens. Well, that's your prerogative. So anyway, whilst I was in the oh God, what's the word again now? The bit in CX where you put your details, I happen to notice that sure enough, I am blocked by a company, just one company. So I'm assuming that it's you. I'm assuming that you have blocked me, and maybe the other YouTubers too, which is your prerogative. I did actually have a sneaky look at who blocked me and exactly, what kind of firm it was. And it wasn't a very big firm. In fact, they didn't seem to post many jobs on the CX. So, probably it's not overly a great loss for me or any of the YouTubers. But what I would say is that whilst I respect your opinion, and you have got the right to not give me that work because of that mistake I made, and you wouldn't want it happening to you. So I understand that. What I would say is that I wouldn't make that mistake again. But you obviously have a low opinion of people who put the YouTubes on, yet you continue watching. Why? Why bother? Why don't you do us a favour and just subscribe yourself and don't bother? Because you don't like us, or maybe it's just me, but you don't need to watch me. These videos are put out for one reason only, and that's because when I started looking about coming on the CX, I knew nothing about it. I knew absolutely nothing about it. All I knew that I would have to pay a big chunk of money out to come on, but I needed it because I didn't have any work on my own. So I watched videos from other YouTubers who were well before me, some of them very established, people like that Big Beardy. You know, I found his videos very engaging. He's very well spoken and he comes across really well. Pete the Courier, Tall Man, Small Van. I'm not going to name everybody because, you know, it's just a whole host of people. But the point is, their videos help me understand highs and lows about this particular game. So when I started, I thought, well, I'll do one and I'll chronicle someone who just starts right from when I did that little plea to say, oh, I'm going to start. Does anyone get any advice to me? To now, nearly 4 months on, where I'm a bit more established, I'm a bit more confident about what I'm doing, and hope that what I put out helps people who want to start. That's the reason for it. It's not to be famous, because you don't get famous on 400 and odd subscribers. You know, it's never going to go probably much more above that, because the content's only really appealing to people in the same industry, isn't it? So it's not put out to hurt people, it's put out to help people and hope that people can see that I'm just an ordinary gadget who's trying something different because he wanted to get away from working for their man and wanted to change in his life. And I got help from other people via that YouTube. And I thought, I'll do the same. People can, you know, I'm a down-to-earth guy. People can see, you know, how I get on, mistakes I've made, which I own up to, and things I've perhaps hopefully done right. You know, and I'm transparent. Everything I say is true on here. I don't lie. This is a, you know, not a great week. I have actually made it pay, but, you know, I know plenty of other guys who are struggling as well, you know. And the CX is up and down. There's no guarantees with it. And, you know, I've come to the conclusion the CX needs a little bit of help. And that is why I'm going to set out and try and find some of my own work in something that I know a bit more about, which is ADR work. And that's work I'm comfortable with, work I've done for quite a long time as an employee as well. So I'm going to concentrate on that. But if other people want to go into ADR, then they can watch how I get on. They can watch the guys at Firkin who are obviously above me, you know, in terms of their progression and where they are, and learn from them, because I'm learning from them. I'm taking their advice. I think it's very good, sound advice. So if you don't want to watch me, mate, just unsubscribe. No problem. I don't mind. Not at all. I don't mind constructive criticism. You know, the odd one that says, what do you know, you bald fat bastard? Well, I tend to delete those because the truth hurts. But, you know, it's done to help. That's all. And that mistake I made, I owned up to it, didn't I? And that's it. So that's it. That is my this week. I've made some money. It's not been prolific. However, I am starting on a good job on Monday morning. I've got myself an ADR job. Bit of a multi-drop thing. I've done it before. Going around the swim baths, delivering the chlorine. I'm not a big fan of multi-drop. You know, it's only 5 drops and it'll take me about half a day and it pays pretty well. So that'll suit me. I'll get a fairly early finish. I'll ease into the week, won't I? Now, I'm going to get off now. I've bored you for long enough. I hope you all have a great weekend. If you like this video, please press like. And the reason for that is it gets it out on the algorithms and gets it out so people can see it, and hopefully it'll help them. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It is absolutely free, doesn't cost you a penny. It just assures that any content I put out, you will actually see it. And now I'm going to wait till tomorrow, because apparently Neil from Neptune has got a Halloween special coming out. So I'm going to keep Saturday night clear. I'm going to miss Come Dancing or whatever it's called. And we're all going to sit down in our house, put YouTube on the big telly and get ready to watch it. Have a great weekend.